Good evening. So we would like to present the summary of the language acquisition. My name is Nazarina Nanditya with the last student number 29, and my friends Indi with the last student number 6, and Indi Darojatun with the last student number 87. So first, we will present about the definition of language acquisition. Language acquisition is a language that begins from birth through puberty and operates unconsciously. Language acquisition is the subconscious development of language that takes place as a result of interaction and input. And next is difference between language acquisition and language learning. Language acquisition is the process by which we absorb language subconsciously and we get language unconsciously when communicating, listening, or reading. Whereas language learning is a conscious process such as learning grammar rules and usually takes place in a classroom environment. And next will be explained by my friends.
Okay, next is 7th stage of language. First stage, the first newborn language is crying. For newborn, crying is the only way to communication. Second stage, the baby making random sounds and noises like cooing or babbling and incorporating the vowel sounds. Third stage, the children start repeating syllable over and over such as baba and they don't produce their first word yet. Fourth stage, combining different syllables sound like baba, dada. Fifth stage, the children produce their first words that they is in their environment. Sixth stage, the children combining words together. Seventh stage, the children producing telegraphic speech. Next is factor that influence of language acquisition. The first is motivation, the second self-esteem, the third is anxiety. Next, Stephen Krashen put forward 5 main hypotheses in his theory of language acquisition. The first is acquisition learning hypothesis. According to Krashen, there are 2 main ways of learning a language, through acquisition and learning. Acquisition is a natural and unconscious process such as a child learning his or her native language. Learning, on the other hand, is a more formal and conscious process in which the student learns the rules of grammar. The second, monitor hypothesis. Language learning works as a character. Its use requires time and sufficient knowledge of grammar. Example, a person can correct his or her speech when he or she remembers the grammar rules that he or she has learned. The third, comprehensible input hypothesis. Language is acquired when we understand the message conveyed. Example, children learn a language through direct interaction that they understand. The fourth is natural order hypothesis. There is a natural order in the development of language skill. Some language structure emerge earlier, others later. Implication: teachers do not need to strictly order grammar, just focus on understanding. The last is affective filter hypothesis. Influence of emotional factor. High motivation and self-confidence help language acquisition. Low anxiety make it easier to receive language input. An emotional supportive learning environment enhances the effectiveness of acquisition.
Okay, the next is language some points language acquisitions thinking points. The first is student must be engaged with the language. The second, it is often argued that comprehensible input is best for language acquisition. The third is opportunities for language acquisition can be found in many places. Fourth is passive study can result in incidental learning. And the fifth is acquisition takes time. The next is the example of language acquisition. So the example is a speaker improve his Spanish by chatting regularly with a clerk and by reading simple, interesting book in Spanish. Instead of memorizing vocabulary or grammar rules, he focused on understanding fun and easy content.
And that's all for our presentations about language acquisitions. Thank you very much.